Welcome back to another episode of You Asked For It, the show where you send us questions and we spend time talking about them.
Jonathan.
Oh, jeez. Yes?
How would I submit such a proposal?
If you want to submit a question for us to chatter about, just comment on this video. That's the easiest way. However, if you don't want the world to see that it was you asking an embarrassing question, you can send us an email, which is contact@accesschurchonline.org, or send us a Facebook message at Access.
What question
Church.
could possibly be embarrassing?
I can think of a couple.
Okay, let's not go there.
We do have a question for this week, though.
All right, good.
Okay? We're staying on the, I'm not going to say religious. We're staying on the spiritual end, Kevin.
Good.
Okay?
Can't
Don't like
wait.
the word religious. But this person is asking, what is the first question you would want to ask God when you meet him?
What took you so long? Done. I mean, I know the answer to that one.
Okay.
This could be like, I mean, I already know mine. It's going to be uber personal. It has nothing to do with humanity or
Does that have
it's
anything to do
totally,
with like height?
it's totally.
Or... Oh, sorry.
Why was I 5'3"? Why did I max out in 8th grade and didn't grow any taller? How come?
Okay. You know, can I change that question a little bit? Because
I know the question is what it is, so I
Well,
don't.
here's the point. I want to answer it with.
Thanks
change
for
a little
asking the
bit.
question,
Yeah,
but
thank you.
we're gonna change it to
'cause
something different.
Maybe
Do what we
you
want.
meant this. I just believe that when I see God, all my questions will be answered. So, but
Okay.
if I could change the question to, what do I wonder about right now? That
Yep,
could
right
if I,
now. What
Right
would
now,
you-
if I could ask God something,
That is a
like,
good way of changing it, because I thought about that too. Is how about let's take it back down to earth as we are in our human bodies living on earth. What
If you
would we
could
want
ask
to ask God
one
right now?
Look at you philosophers.
No, I thought of the same thing.
I just really believe that. Like when I see God, it's
All right.
Thanks for the question, but what I think you meant was
nobody's gonna send a question in again, are they?
okay. So
right.
if we could ask God one question here
From today's
right now,
perspective.
if you could ask him a
Yep.
question right now, we get done filming. You're gonna go talk to him, okay? And he's gonna answer it face to face.
Is this like the question immediately right now for me, or is this like one that I've pondered?
not
Just
today.
one that-
Okay, not
You're,
today.
you're in a
Pizza.
bad mood, so
Not
how about,
today.
How about a question that you've wondered in your life?
Okay.
Like, if I could really know one thing from God, what would it be? Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, living in this world, God, why, or whatever. That question. Okay, I'm gonna go last.
go ahead, Dave.
Dave, you're first.
Yep, you're first.
I'm first. If I could ask God one question. Thanks, Johnny.
There you go.
It didn't look weird or anything. If I could ask God one question and he had to answer it, yeah, it almost would be, what took you so long? Yeah. I don't know
so
that I would.
clouded with today.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to think.
You'd ask, what's taking you so long?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Today's perspective.
Yeah. That would be his no. Yeah, I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea what I don't even know, being in the presence of God, if that would even come to my mind to ask him a question. Like, I wouldn't have questions.
No, but
I would
I
just
like
be
how
so
Johnny Reed said
overwhelmed.
it, because the question we are answering is, right now, if you could ask God one question right now, what would it be?
It's all hypothetical. It's like genie in a bottle. What are you gonna say? You know what I mean?
When does this end?
When does this end? You'd want to know. Okay, so like, when is Jesus coming? When is this?
Yeah.
When is this
when
earth
does
over?
this
Yeah.
end?
Good question.
When can I be with you?
When you
Like, really be with you, not.
He might say, I've been here all along.
Yeah, yeah.
He'd say,
No,
Dave,
I mean, like,
go cut the brake
physically,
line
like-
in your car.
yeah.
I'll see you soon.
schedule a party at your
BRB.
Pole barn. Okay.
Kevin?
I got mine, and
He
it's
said
something-
last.
But
Oh,
I'll
you
go
want to go
but-
last?
Yeah.
Mine is totally. People say like, I feel like a lot of people be like that. Like, when are you coming? I don't really care. Mine's totally about my kid. I would 100% want to know, like, what is my son like? Like, what
one question.
Sorry, like, I would want to know everything about him. I'd want to just sit there and talk forever. But I guess my question would be more of like a, can you describe my son to me? I want to know what he looks like. I want to know what his color his hair was, what color his eyes were, and yeah, that would be mine.
In his glorified body?
I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I'll never see him on Earth, but yeah, mine would be about my kid.
Yep.
I was going to be funny when I said it and say, I would ask, can I have like 100 more questions? That would be my question.
What if he did, and then he goes, no.
Question answer.
Today's question would be not when are you coming back? When is my time up? Because I don't know if he'd tell me when he's coming back.
Yeah.
So I'd ask mine, when is my time up? But probably on a different day. I wonder, this is probably not be my final question, but just as I'm thinking right now, I'd want to know why, how do I phrase it? Like why this is just my opinion, the Benny Hinns and the Joel Osteens and like the Kenneth Cope, like the prosperity, like why do you allow that to go on
And gain
still
traction
be kind of
and yeah.
like loosely tied? I mean, I think probably a good number of Christians can see through that, but like I wonder, why would you let that be so closely? So like, why does that stuff go on?
I would argue that because you said a vast majority of Christians could see through that. They have a huge following.
Yeah,
I would
but-
say a vast majority of
But
Christians, that's what they want to hear.
But those Christians are not, I mean, they have a huge following, but not in comparison to all of Christianity.
Kind of
So-
like, why have you allowed something like that to taint the image of
Yeah.
true Christianity?
Yeah.
I got the answer. I
'Cause
know
man-
what
'cause
I
man is
feel
broken
confident
and we
I
live in
know
a
what God
fallen
would tell
world
you.
and- yeah, right.
He would say, if you want me to control that,
Yeah.
then what don't you want me to control? You know, either you give people free will or you
they
don't. And he would say, I can't go and micromanage that unless I'm going to micromanage you, and I'm going to micromanage you. Why is Islam so popular in the world? Why, you know, I mean, to ask that question, we know the answer to that. God would say to us, hey, listen, my truth is out there. I'm there. I love everybody. And people are going to do, influenced by the evil one, the most evil things you can imagine. And prosperity preaching is very deceptive because it hits to the core of our desires in life, you know, the pride of life and the, you know, those nature things. So we kind of know the answer to that one. You can't come up with a better one.
Okay, when is my time up?
Okay, that's a good one. Here's mine. It's going to blow your mind. And it's easy to answer this. And I'm glad the question came in, by the way, because I think about this a lot. And I do. And there's so many things in the Bible that if they're not explained, I don't really wonder about them. I'm good with what the Bible tells us about heaven, about all that. The one thing that I think probably I would just like to know, who did Adam and Eve's children marry? I would like to know, God, what was before you wrote for us creation? What was before that story? Was there anything? I would like to know from God, did he have Moses start writing from Genesis and creation after things had already been going for so many thousands of years or millions of years? Did creation start, the Garden of Eden story, was that the very beginning, or was there things and then the Garden of Eden he started? You know, and I would like to kind of know that. Not that it's going to determine my Christianity, my relationship with God, but to answer the question, which I think is a very good question, by the way, what would I ask God right now if he would that I'm more interested in that than anything else. God, what was the story before the story that was written for us? Or was there any?
Good question.
When Cain had to go off
And
Where did he
was
go?
marked.
He was marked.
Why was he marked? To protect. He said, hey, other nations are going to kill me. And I'm going to be hunted down.
Wait
he said,
a minute. Where'd they come from?
yeah. And God says, I'm going to put a mark on you so nobody will touch you. Nobody who?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is just so fascinating to me because, well, now I'm going to go on a stretch. I kind of believe that what was written in the beginning was the story of in the beginning of mankind made in his image. Doesn't mean that there wasn't creation before mankind's image, in God's image. You mentioned that with the terrestrial question, that maybe there was creation somewhere out there, but it wasn't mankind in God's own image. Mm-hmm. And so I wonder sometimes, don't start a whole theology about this, but I wonder sometimes, what was before the Garden of Eden creation story?
So are you wondering, like, before Genesis 1:1, or are you asking in that 6-day account, is that 6 literal, maybe some of that was over thousands of years before we got to man?
And that's part of my question.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly what you asked. God, was there something before in the beginning, or was this? I just feel like this. God didn't tell us everything. Mm-hmm. God, what didn't you tell us about before Adam and Eve? That's all. That's what I'd like to know. What didn't you tell us?
Great questions.
Interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting. Hopefully you're okay with us rewording your question.
Yeah.
Send us any question you want.
And
if we
then we'll
don't like
change
it, we'll just change it.
I will say this. That's the closest question we've ever had to almost stumping us, wasn't it? I mean, I think that's the hardest question we've had to answer since we've been doing this. So good job.
Probably.
Yeah?
You wouldn't think so, but
Yeah, good job.
probably.
Way to go.
Okay, well, there you go. Send us more questions. Like we talked about in the beginning, easiest way to do that is just comment on this video with a question for next week. We love talking about them. So make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be back next week with another episode. Deuces.